Hiya Squishers! And today we're going to talk about making it up as we go along. But just before we do that, if my eye looks a little bit funny, I haven't poked myself in the eyeball, I am circling the migraine drain. So don't worry, it's all fine. That's why I've got lots of colourful knitting to distract you with. Ooh, because that's what it's doing for me. It's distracting me. Right, making it up as you go along. Now, you may have noticed that there are a number of things that I make that I have a response like, I'm sorry, I have an idea and it's working its way out, as you can see right now. Which sometimes is great, it's exciting. But it does mean that in the meantime, whilst it's percolating and currently happening in front of your very eyes, I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about why I make up my own patterns and how I go about doing it, briefly, not in depth. We haven't got all night, have we? And why you should do it yourself. Now, there are a couple of things about making up as you go along that are exciting. Number one, you have no idea if it's going to work. And if you're asking me, have I made unwearable things? Yes, I have. I've also made things that I've thought, no. And then after a while, I've decided, yes. Sometimes I've made things where I've gone, oh, now I understand why people do that. So don't worry about making mistakes, and it's fine, because look where it gets you. You get to make your own stuff at the end. Number two, things to remember about making your own stuff. Like, no one's going to be able to tell you exactly what's going to fit you, and that is the most important thing about it, is making sure that whilst you're trying to make it up as you go along, you consider yourself. Yeah, just that. Because if you're going to make it for yourself, then you can have a lot of fun. And the first place I would start is finding a garment. And I say garment loosely because it doesn't have to be something that it's sewn. It could be sewn. It doesn't have to be knitted. But what you want to look for is what kind of shapes do you consistently reach for in your wardrobe? Now, for example, the yarn is on the floor. For example, I always reach for big boxy sweaters or jumpers. I'm not sure which one to settle on, sweater or jumper, I'm not sure. We'll use them interchangeably. But I like boxy stuff. I like boxy stuff for a number of reasons. Oh yeah, there's a bottom. There's a bottom. Yarn, 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 yarn. I like boxy tops. Number one, because I've realised that when I've made things to shape myself, that I don't like it. I just don't like being squished in. I don't like being squished in like a sausage. It's not my jam. I don't like it. So I like feeling easy and breezy, like I could throw a couple of layers on top or underneath. So that's the style I like. So first, find a garment thing that you love to wear and have a look at its construction. This, I've had lots of questions about this. This is one of my favourite sweaters. This was a second-hand one from a shop. No idea where it's made, but it's cotton, it hangs lovely, and it's a flat panel construction. So this is like two squares stuck together with a neck and like two rectangles folded over and seamed. Like, it's so easy. And when you look at your stuff and you realise how easy it is to see the basic shape, you might not be so scared about making it yourself. So, what next? Just have a little go. Now, you might want to look at some patterns you've made before. The things that I do is once I get can I work out if it goes over my neck is the first question. Yes. And then from there, it varies, right? Which is why I'm having trouble working out how to communicate this to you, because essentially it could go all kinds of ways, can't it? Like, maybe I think this, let me know down below. Would it work if I did like a little video series tutorial coursey thing where we go from step A, step B, make it up, meet in the middle, get to the bottom, pop some arms on, Bob's your uncle, off you go. Because that's the kind of bit you need to be quite confident with, is knowing that once you can get it past your neck, you can start. I like to start from the bottom, but that's not helpful, the bottom or the top. But I essentially find out if you're a flat sheet maker or a tube maker, because you can make a sweater from a giant tube, leave the top open, and then you can pop some arms on. And if you were a flat panel maker, this is a flat panel top. So there's loads and loads and loads of scope for personalization. And this one right here is very boxy and big, and it's got big arms on it at the moment, and I'm trying to decide how small I want the arms to go, because I've got a little way left to go, but I'm going to reduce them. So that's the other thing to think about, is what kinds of arms do you like? So that's where I would start with. I've noticed I've got a little visitor on the stairs, just so that if you're hearing the creaking of the floorboards under the stairs, there's a small person here. So I was thinking, as making it up as you go along involves a little bit of like, oh, I don't care, let's just go with it. Maybe I could be your guided tour guide through like making a jumper as you go along, because I'm not going to be able to give you a flat out pattern, here do you make it, because I kind of make them as I go along and I adapt them. So mostly, once you can find a simple formula that fits you, and you can try out mine, you can customize the bells and whistles, like the cuffs and the hem. And that way, you're going to always have something that you know, which is your base template, which is how I make these. And then all you've got to worry about is the extra bits. And of course, the colour. The colour. So talking about making it up as you go along, and half of my face not quite working quite well, I think you've got the flavour of what I'm trying to get across. You just need to maybe start going big and then bring it down. And maybe we'll chat about it in a series of videos. Let me know down below, because as you can see, it's quite hard to condense into a few moments. But there you go, squishers. I'm going to endeavour to finish this side and see if I like it. And if I do, I will do this side. And maybe by the weekend, I'll have a full thing to show you. Yay! And until then, craft on, whatever it is, and however little you can get done, get it done. A stitch at a time. See you later. Bye.